a Rhodes Scholar with an Oxford PhD, a liberal with a sense of humor, a fact favorer in an opinion-saturated world, you emerged on our TV machines, as you call them, an unlikely yet urgently necessary cable news phenomenon, a singular presence galvanizing the insular world of television political commentary. Having honed your voice on the critical policy issues of our time, AIDS, prison reform, American militarism, don't ask, don't tell, you call out hypocrisy across the political spectrum with a compelling mix of incisiveness, idealism, and wit. For privileging insight over vehemence, for expanding our expectations of political analysis, Smith College is honored to award you the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa. It's now my great pleasure and honor to present to you the 2010 commencement speaker, Rachel Maddow. This is very impressive. So much for asking me to be here today. I know by virtue of the achievement that earned you these seats down front today, that you are too smart to take advice from anyone who hasn't earned it, let alone from an erstwhile Northampton morning radio show DJ. I do, however, have a story to tell that I will admit is a little woolly, but I hope you'll think that it's worth it, so here goes. In June of the year 1900, a self-righteous, by all accounts quite unpleasant woman in Kansas had a religious vision. Or at least she said she had a religious vision. Her name was Carrie Nation. And years later, when she wrote her autobiography, in which she all but named herself a saint, she said that while she was praying in June 1900, she said she was lamenting, weeping, trying to find a way to be a better Christian. She says that God spoke to her in a clear voice and directed her to go destroy saloons. God told her to leave the town where she lived in Medicine Lodge, Kansas, to go 20 miles away to Kiowa, Kansas, and to destroy any saloons she found there. And she did. She stormed these turn-of-the-century bars, these saloons with their long wooden bars, their long mirrors, and she had a big rock, and she used the rock to smash bottles of liquor. She just laid waste to these barrooms. Turns out that Carrie Nation had a sort of hankering for this. She lustily enjoyed destroying property and terrifying people. And she soon made both a habit of it and a career of it. She traveled all over Kansas first, and then ultimately all over the country, destroying barrooms, smashing bottles of liquor, first with a rock, and then ultimately with a hatchet. She adopted the hatchet as her symbol. She called her saloon smashings hatchetations, which is probably the one really cool thing about Carrie Nation. Hatchetations. Carrie Nation sold these tiny little pewter hatchet pins as fundraising souvenirs. You can still buy them on eBay. I have one. It looks like a Labris, though. Like, it looks like a... So different. Carrie Nation's fundraising was actually for herself. It was so she could promote herself as essentially a sideshow act, the saloon smasher, and she had a sideshow act manager promoting this traveling saloon smashing roadshow that she did all over the country. Now, as a person who's become not a little bit obsessed with Carrie Nation, I have come to think of her mostly as an American huckster, just promoting herself. But of course she was also promoting her cause, which was temperance, outlawing drinking, prohibition. And that campaign worked. I mean, not on her own, obviously. She was one of the reigning symbols, though, of the Prohibition movement, from when she started smashing saloons in 1900 until she died in 1911. And by 1917, the combined effort of activists like her and the Women's Christian Temperance Union and the Anti-Saloon League and the Prohibition Party and all these other groups, they had succeeded in passing an anti-booze amendment to the United States Constitution as if we did not have better things to do. It passed overwhelmingly through both houses of Congress. Less than a year and a half later, ratified by 2/3 of the states, and starting in 1920, the incredibly stupid idea of prohibition was the law of the land. And it was a disaster. Alcoholism actually went up. Dozens and then hundreds and then thousands of illegal drinking establishments opened up. Bootleggers ran the black market to end all black markets. A whole new variety of organized criminal activity blossomed with the massive surge